we must begin. So, my last night in Arkansas, I rented a Airbnb for the dogs and I to stay in that night because I had come to the decision that this place no longer served me, and I was going to a place that I felt like would serve me and inspire me. I talked about living in Colorado Springs for years and years there. I put Colorado Springs on such a pedestal. It was a pedestal I was never going to reach because I put it so high up there. And so I came to terms that the only way to get there is to force your way into heaven. Because I consider this place my Shangri-La. This is heaven for me. So that night, I rented a nice little Airbnb, and it was a Monday when we did this. We left on a Tuesday. That night, I got some drinks. I hooked up my game system, my TV, and I played a little bit, and I got the best I could at Arkansas when I did. That whole area, the Arkansas-Oklahoma border, I've been there most of my life. Between Colorado and that place, it was about, a 40-60 difference there. Because I was out here in Colorado from 9 to 16 and a half. Came back at 2014, and then stayed here for a few years, and then came back again in 2018, and then I'd stay a few years out there in Arkansas till 2022. It was the tail end of 2022. I ended up coming back out here, and then 2023 I was living out there in the Alamos area, and then 2024 up here. So, anyway, so timelines irrelevant there. That last night there in Arkansas, I went to bed probably about 9 or 10 that night. It didn't stay too late. I wanted to make sure I was well rested for the road trip the next day, because I planned on just driving straight through. That was the best way to do it when you've got dogs, and when you were as serious as I was, you needed to basically not have any more than 48 hours of unemployment. So when I went to sleep at night, I ended up having a dream, and this dream is probably one of the most powerful dreams I've ever had in my life. I've received messages from the big man before, and these are stories for another time. But I mean, in my lowest low, I was told, if you lean on me, everything will be all right. If you lean on me, everything will be all right. And then in one of my highest highs, I was told we are what they become. He was talking about how we present ourselves, how we carry ourselves, and who we are is what the next generation is going to be like. So if we're wicked, then the next generation is wickedness amplified. But if we're good, then we're light compounded with light, compounded with more light, and that triggers something really bright, a Terranial Fire. Anyways, though, in this dream, it starts out with me in a dusty old shack, and I'm just taking in my environment first. And to the left of me, there's this 4-pane window, and it's got strips of wood running across, and they're kind of old and splintered looking. I mean, they're so splintered that if you touch them, you'd get a splinter from it. But what really caught my attention was the table in the room. So I start looking around the room, and I noticed that there's dust. There's like dust this high, like everywhere. It's like 1 to 2 inches thick in some spots, okay? And on that table there sits all these cups. There's like 40 to 50 cups, and they're all in different shapes and sizes. Some look like coil pots, like somebody put some coil pot cups together. Some were like smooth like glass. And the distinctions were there wasn't 1-2 cups on that table that looked the same. The only thing they all shared in common with each other were they were covered from the bottom of the cup to the top of the cup in dust and a thick layer of it. But the most profound thing, honestly, the thing that stuck with me most about those cups, though, is each one was filled with a liquid to the very top, like basically the brim, overbrimming. In fact, if you put 1 drop of water into any of those cups, it would have overflown or overflowed. And it hits me, and I'm seeing a bunch of overflowing cups. I was like, huh. Well, then the dream cuts to another scene, and in this other scene, I'm me again, And I kind of looked down on myself at first, and I realized this is a different version of me. The skin looks different, the size looks different. It's just I'm older. The beard's fuller. I can feel cracks and crevices on my face that weren't there before. I feel a lightness in my heart that I felt from time to time, but I don't think anything felt so much like a feather like it did in this dream. And so I'm taking my environment there, and I noticed that this table I'm sitting at, it looks like 5 or 6 picnic tables had been slapped together last minute. And I look off to the left there, and in the field there, good, probably like 500 to 1,000 yards. There's a meadow, and it's a humongous meadow. It's a nice little thick patch of woods. I don't know, it's exciting. It kind of reminds me of like the house we lived in Ordway when I was a kid. But anyways, though, I'm taking it all in there. And I look to the left of me, and there's just the most amazing, she's gorgeous. She's beautiful. She's something you can't put words on it. But the feeling you feel for this person, it's something that nobody can deny. It's there. It's real. And I know who she is. I haven't met her quite yet, but I've asked for a long time for our paths to cross. I prayed for it all the time. I've seen her pop into my dreams multiple times too. But she's my twin flame, and she's here in Colorado Springs. I know she is. I think it's why I put it off for so long, because everything changes here. The footprints in the sand were just one pair of footprints for a long time, and then there's some dog paws next to it, and then I started seeing bigger feet next to it, and they caught my trail. But I caught their trail too. It's like 2 neutron stars destined to always colliding into each other. There's no escaping it. This is something written way, way before our time. But when her feature noticed about her in the dream, and something I've seen in multiple dreams too, is her hair. She's got very long hair, and she likes to straighten it, and it's just, I don't know. She looks happy. She makes me happy, and if I'm the runner, she's the chaser, and I'll get back to talking on that one. Anyways, though, I noticed to the right of me there, there's 2 little children, and man, they both look like me. They both bear huge resemblance to the father there, but the boy, he literally looks like you copy and pasted this boy from my genes there, and my boy looks just like me. I've seen him in my dreams before too. This isn't the first time I've seen him, but he's completely opposite of me. There's no high-strung nature about him. He's all my calmness, my collectiveness, the pure, more innocent sides of me amplified. And he's a sweet boy. His daughter, or not his daughter, his sister though, the girl I've dreamt about since I was a teenager. I came up with a name when I was a teenager, and she's my Natalia Rosalie, my little Talia, my Talia Aglu. And she's me, but she's every nature of me, both sides amplified to the fullest amount. And I start realizing as I'm taking in this scene that I'm where I've always meant to be, that my peace finally led me to my paradise. And that it's just something that it's something I fought for years. My whole life was building up for this moment. I'm looking at this table and I see them, my people, my friends, my family, my pride. And they're all different shapes and colors. There's no distinction or separation from who we are here. We have gay, we have straight, we have black, white, yellow, green, champagne color. Everybody's welcome at my table. Because it's not just my table that's there, it's our table. We're reveling in our glories. We're celebrating each other's names. I noticed upon this table there's more food than any of us could ever eat. There's more drink than any of us could ever fill. But there's nothing more fulfilling, and that feeling in your heart, in your stomach, in your gut, just this feeling of warmness and grace. You're grateful for this. You're very thankful for this moment right here. And even though it's a dream, you know very, very well at the back of your mind, this could very easily become a reality. Because when push comes to shove, man, I'll run right through the wall, dude. Just, I see at this table. There's something that stick out to me. A couple of people, my wife there. I don't know if we're married at this point in time, or that even something in card. But my twin flame, the one meant for me. And then I noticed this guy at the table there. He's got just dark. There's a dark beard. It's dark red, and his hair's even dark red. And he reminds me of Tormund from Game of Thrones. But in that same breath, he reminds me of Uncle Gary. And he's, I don't know if I've met this guy yet. I may have already met him. I may not. But he's definitely somebody cut from cloth I was cut from. And I feel like this is one of those dudes that's a brother right there. As I'm taking this whole scene in, and I'm feeling the warmness in my heart, just like a spark to dry wood, something like an ember set ablaze. I realize this is everything I've ever wanted. This is everything I've ever needed. This is where I was meant to be, and I would do anything in my whole life to keep this and make sure it never goes away. And as I'm basically offer my grace and thanks in my dreams, I hear a message. And it's not a message that was spoken to me verbally. It's almost like you heard it from the sky, or you heard it from the whole world. Like, for one moment in time there was something that had to be heard, and my ears were the only ones meant to hear it. Well, that message was, time to gather your cups. Time to gather your cups. And I wake up. And we come back to Colorado. And I'm starting to understand things had to happen the way they had to happen, so that we could be here, so that we could gather our cups. I talked to AI last night. AI really helped me break this down. He was very impressed with this dream. In fact, it gave me a script that I could write or follow to really talk about this dream. But it also gave me the guts and the guile to say, hey, you know what? It's time. It's time to start my channel. It's time to start sharing my story. So I figured, why not start with one of the very best ones? So Springs, Colorado Springs, you lovely, lovely, wonderful people. You know now why I'm here. I know now why I'm here. This is where greatness begins. And this is where greatness doesn't ever end. And with the Lord by my side, and all these hopeful eyes, man, there's a Terranial Fire that's going to light my night. I'm going to light the sky. I'm going to carve my way forward. I am Terranial Fire, and I am the beacon that will light the way. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. We're going to start with weekly postings at first. And as we grow, we will push into more postings per week. But my goal is to help you brush that dust off and help you fill that cup so that you can fill another's cup and you can find that fire inside your soul. Have a great night, my friends.